All right. What it do, baby? It's your boy Baki back with another one. So I just beat Spider-Man 2 a couple days ago. Been letting it kind of sit and resonate with me. Been kind of still playing through the game. I've already beat it 100% when I beat the game. When I finished the credits, I was already 100% done. But I kind of went back. We've been playing ultimate mode and everything else. So I kind of want to talk about it. We're going to do a light review at first and then get heavy into the spoilers at the end. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all. So I think we should tackle this with kind of a good, bad, and ugly scenario, if you will. All right. First off, let's talk about the good. This game is a graphical feat, in my opinion, when it comes to the amount of speed that they're using with the SSD and the amount of speed that you can do in the game while still rendering everything else on the ground. I did have a couple texture pop-ins here or there, but it was early on. After the patch, there really wasn't any issues like that anymore. So overall, I think that this game is gorgeous, you know what I mean? And I think that New York City has never looked better. You can even attest to that by looking at some of 2004 footage of Spider-Man that I have here. I've been playing that as well, kind of side by side a little bit, just seeing the differences on like what a company could do with Spider-Man. And we can talk about that a little bit later. So I absolutely love this city, and I love the way that the city feels, you know what I mean? It does truly feel alive in a sense. There is a certain like feeling behind all the things you see and all the people you see, even though they're not going anywhere or doing anything. You feel like they are doing something, which is what a city would feel like anyway. It's like you don't know where those people are going, you know what I mean? So in that sense, they nail it, you know? And I really do enjoy the aspect of like moving through the city, traversing through the city. Traversal as well has been revamped, reintroduced. They've now added a web wing, which allows you to glide through the air, which is actually really, really clean. I enjoy it to a certain degree, but I also kind of think it's a little bit too much of a crutch at certain points because you then stop web swinging and you don't really feel like Spider-Man. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later because that more talks about the level of depth that the game has, which I think is kind of lacking. We'll talk about that in a minute though. The story is really, really good. I kind of wish it was a tad bit longer. It's a little on the short side. If you're doing the main mission stuff, it's maybe 5 to 7 hours, but I didn't do the main mission stuff until I did all the side mission stuff. I'm weird like that. So I did all the side mission stuff first, and then I started doing the main mission stuff. And then, you know, a couple other side missions would unlock. We do all those side missions, and then we continue the main mission. So like I said, when I hit the credits, I had already did everything and seen everything that the game had allowed me to see, you know? So with that being said, I think that the story for Peter and Miles is actually really engaging in this game, but I don't necessarily like it more than the 2018 one. I still think the 2018 story is really strong with Doc Ock and his like descent into madness, if you will. I really, really enjoy the 2018 story more, though, you know, the Mary Jane parts in 2018 kind of hinder that game, you know, and I don't really like the Mary Jane parts in this game either, but I will say that the story was a little bit more engaging in the last game, in my opinion, over this game. But I did enjoy the story overall in this game. You know, you got Harry's back, you know, and you're seeing a lot of love being put and dedication being put into the game, and of the side missions and story and craft and stuff, you know. Even with Miles, like Miles isn't just treated as some like side character. He really is treated as a main character as well. And there's some really good side missions with Miles. In fact, I enjoyed more of the side missions with Miles than I did with Peter, but there's some side missions with Miles I thought were kind of redundant as well. Overall though, like this game is a really good game, but I have some like, I guess it's like boomer gripes, bro. I have some really big boomer gripes, and you know, I guess, you know, I've pretty much given my good. I really do think that this game is good and worth your money, you know what I'm saying? But I personally have some problems with it, you know what I mean? So I think we should get past the good and kind of go on to the bad, right? For me personally, this game is lacking in 1, a difficulty factor, and 2, a enemy variety factor. Majority of the enemies can be tackled the exact same way, and there really is no difficulty factor. To further attest this, I have been playing ultimate mode for the last, I'm like 5 hours in. I have not died one time. In fact, I've only been hit 4 times. We were counting in chat. So even in ultimate mode, and I'm not upgrading anything, I'm using basic gadgets right now. I don't have, I'm doing what they force you to do. That's it. And I'm not even using them. I'm trying my hardest to, only thing I'm using is Venom's, Miles Morales' powers. That's the only thing I'm using. And even then, I'm only using the punch. We're not upgrading. We're not getting any other ones that they give us. They force us to give it to us. They force us to get them. But besides that, I'm not using any other one besides the punch here or there. And we still haven't died. Like, you have to nerf yourself so hard for the game to even be challenging. And I think that is one of its biggest detriments to me enjoying it, is it just feels so simple. There's some combat where like I never touch the ground. I'll be at 192 hit combo, never touch the floor. Easy. I mean, it's just so easy. And you know, 2018, people say that game was a little bit harder. That game also felt really easy. It could be because I play a lot of Arkham, you know what I mean? And that could be like the Arkham side in me. And not to say that, you know, this is a better game than Arkham, and that's a better game, not even that, but to draw a comparison because they are kind of similar. When you play an Arkham game that isn't Arkham Asylum, when you're playing Arkham City, and then especially in Arkham Knight, I really notice it in Arkham Knight more than Arkham City, because maybe I'm just really good at Arkham City, but in Arkham Knight specifically, they have now ramped up the variety of enemies so much that you have to do different things almost every single moment when you're playing the harder challenger modes, right? Even Arkham City is the same way. Arkham Asylum is not, right? Arkham Asylum is very basic. But in Arkham City, you can't tackle all enemies the same, right? The baton guys, you have to jump over and attack their backside. The shield guys, you have to hit them with the shield bash and do the double jump to land down and smack them. The bigger guys, you either have to hit them with the stun or use the stun gun and actually shoot them back and they'll fly backwards. Like the ninjas, there's all these varieties of ways you have to go through things, but there's multiple options to do said things. So everybody's situation will look different, you know? Spider-Man, whereas that can be true, doesn't necessarily feel true. It feels like it's a false wall, if you will. There's no real difficulty factor because every enemy can basically be tackled the exact same way. And they give you so many gadgets that Spider-Man loses his actual ability to feel like Spider-Man, and he becomes more like Gadget Man, Inspector Gadget. You know, you have 4 gadgets on your right on R1, you have 4, or R2, you have 4 gadgets on the other one. So it's like, or L1 or whatever button it is. So it's like you literally have Spider-Man's powers on the left side, which you can do a jump, a leap. You can do the forward slash, the forward, and then you can do the lasers or whatever, right? Miles, he's got the powers, right? And then on the other side, they both have the same gadgets, which is pull all the enemies together with one of the abilities, which is OP, because once you level it up, you pull in extra environmentals, so they'll be grabbing in wood boards and everything. Then you have the triangle one, which the upshot. Then you have the web ricochet. Then you have the concussion grenade. So it's like you have so many weapons, and then you have 10 of them. You can do, there's 10. You can do 3, 2, 2, and 3 or some shit like that. Yeah, like it's crazy. There's literally 10 gadgets you can throw out. To me, that's way too many gadgets. That is sort of like, it just negates the difficulty, man. And it doesn't really feel palpable in a way that, like, I don't know, when I'm playing Batman, you feel the danger, even though Batman's like stealth is worse. If you like, I know this is gonna be a hot take. I don't do any stealth in Spider-Man. First off, I go in guns blazing every time because the game's too easy already. I don't want the game to be any easier, so I do no stealth at all. But you know, the stealth is better in Spider-Man in a sense where, like, when you're caught, you're caught. Like, you never can kind of get away, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, enemies will always be on the lookout. And I kind of feel like that's a little bit more realistic because you're not going to really disappear. Granted, there's no shadows and shit. So, I don't know. Just a little nitpick with, like, Arkham games and shit. Their stealth has always been kind of, like, finicky. But, like, the thing is, when Batman gets caught and he's in trouble, the danger feels real. You know Batman can't get out of every situation perfectly. So when there's like people with guns and you're not tackling the people with guns, you will get shot. You can't just like magically dodge every bullet, and you know what I mean? Like you, and because of that, I think that feels a little bit more like intense. With Spider-Man, I can dodge everything. I can parry everything. I can pretty much never get hit. In fact, I would be down with a one hit like life, you know what I mean, Spider-Man game where you can still get checkpoints, but it's just one hit and you die or whatever, you know what I mean? I would even play that because I'd rather play that because this game just feels too easy with that. Also, there's also a big problem with the city and kind of its structure. It's bigger, but I don't think necessarily better. My whole thing is with this game that I kind of have an issue with is they kind of put everything on autopilot. And what I mean by that is Spider-Man, and when you're web swinging around and everything, while it feels really good, it's very much on autopilot. It's doing a lot of the work for you. And even when you turn off assist swing, the only thing you're really fixing yourself from doing is swinging too low. If you swing too low, then it'll actually make you hit the ground. By hour 4, I was never hitting the ground anymore. We were swinging for hours. So the game itself kind of struggles in landing that we need a city to move around in and make it feel lively in missions, right? You only do 2 or 3 missions where you're actually moving around the city. Maybe 4, maybe 5 missions where you're like moving around the city. But I would have loved to see, New York be like a playground for missions as well. Usually it's like you're flying around. Oh, here's a tanker. You got to take down the tanker. Boom, you take down the tanker, you web up everything, and then you fly off. Oh, there's a fire. Now you do the fire. But you see what I'm saying? It's very much more constrained. For an example, for another game, if you look at like Prototype, a lot of the missions involve you using the city as kind of like incorporated with everything else that's going on. Not so much just like the city is very static. I mean, this is no disrespect to this game either, man. I still think it's a good game. Don't forget. But I'm just being honest about it. When you look at 2004 Spider-Man and you look at 2023 Spider-Man, they are very much similar games in the fact that it's a very objective-based game. But Spider-Man 2004 nails things that 2023 doesn't nail to me. And like, for example, there's a mission I was playing in 2004 Spider-Man where you're dealing with Materia, and you have to get from essentially the bay to the Statue of Liberty. Like, you have to get from the harbor to the Statue of Liberty. And, there's a big ass ocean in the middle. Spider-Man can't swim, especially in that game, right? He can't swim in that game. He just jumps out the water. So what Mysterio does is he puts these little devices in the air, and they just go all the way up to the Statue of Liberty, but they slightly get higher as they go. So each one is a little bit higher. So when you first start this off and you try to swing, you have to get your apex or your swing perfect with every jump you're doing. And they level you up in that game. Like, that's how you advance the story in that game, is by leveling up, because they want your swing speed to be a certain speed. So once you get your swing speed to, I think, 4 or 5, you're able to do this mission. So you go up and you're doing these swings, right? And the first time I did it, I fell in the water because the game doesn't do everything for you. And I bet money people are in the comments right now be like, this game doesn't do everything for you. I'm gonna show you 2 shots of you. I'm gonna show you multiple shots, because I did it yesterday too, of Spider-Man literally swinging around and there's nothing for him to web to. It's constant in this game, and you don't notice it. So that is good for the game, for like most people to not notice it. I notice it personally though, because I played 2004 Spider-Man like crazy, and that game doesn't really cheat the system very often. In fact, you know what it does? I found this out the other day. So when you're swinging around in Spider-Man 2 on 2004, if you're using the web, and let's say you're going around a building, right? You point, if you were to tether here, and this is your other tether spot, right? And you were to swing around, when you get to this side, then this becomes the new tether if the web hits this point. Which is crazy, because then now Spider-Man's like hanging like this, like he'll just be hanging off the side. So they never cheat the system. I don't want to say never, they do cheat the system sometimes, but they almost never cheat the system that they invented themselves for you to feel like Spider-Man. Whereas in Spider-Man 2, they cheat the system all the time, and like it just doesn't feel as authentic as it should. You know what I mean? And this is just coming from somebody who really played the hell out of Spider-Man games, man. I don't want to go back to 2001 Spider-Man where we're webbing nothing. You literally are webbing nothing. It's the exact same as 2001 Spider-Man. And that's crazy to me that we're in that kind of world. Again, it's not, doesn't mean the game's trash. It doesn't mean the game's awful. I still think the game is good. But that to me is absolutely wild. Trying to make, in the result of trying to open the accessibility for everyone to play Spider-Man, you've now nerfed Spider-Man's like kind of ability to be able to do what you really want to do in the game that's actually like realistic. Like it's very autopilot. Again, like I said, like in Spider-Man 2004, everything you see in Spider-Man 2023 is pretty much from 2004 Spider-Man, aside from the wingsuit. And I guess technically the slingshot, because that's in Spider-Man 3, but it's in Spider-Man 2, but you can only do it with buildings. You do 2 buildings and then you can charge, you can pull back, and then you can launch forward. But from tricks to charge jumps to running up walls to, I mean, all that shit is all from, you know, Spider-Man 2004. And again, that's not a knock, that's to like praise 2004 kind of in a way. But I really think that what they nailed in their city feels a little bit more organic than what they nailed in 2023. And a lot of the missions are very not main missions. Story missions I enjoyed almost all the way through, but a lot of side missions I have a problem with as well, man. Like if you look at all this, it's like find spider bots, take pictures of New York, do the Sandman stuff, you know, do these hunter glider missions, do, you know, like a lot of the side mission fluff I didn't really enjoy. It just didn't feel very good to play. It wasn't, the gameplay loop wasn't that crazy. And you know what's even wilder about that to me is that like majority of the stuff you see in that game still came from 2004. Like we're almost 20 years away from that game, and a lot of those ideas are still rooted in this game. Like how you stop cars, all that stuff is from 2004. How you rescue people, drop them off to the hospital, 2004.
I know swinging isn't super relaxing, but try to relax. There you go. You'll be all right now.
Hey, Spider-Man. Look who it is.
What? Where am I? Spider-Man!
Jonah, my sunshine. You okay?
Help! I've been abducted!
What? No, I'm helping you, man.
Someone get a photo with this! Mass criminals kidnap beloved newsman!
Some things never change. Just be nice to the doctors.
Oh, they kidnapped me! I did not consent!
I would have liked to have seen the game go a little bit more towards Spider-Man's roots and not be so gadget oriented. I think that would have helped flesh out the game a little bit more for me, because I just have more fun in 2004 Spider-Man. We were playing, I have a blast in that game, bro. There's nothing like grabbing an enemy, going to the top of the Empire State Building, and then just dropping, and just like drop bombing all the way down, bro. Like, it's so fun. If we're gonna talk about Venom and stuff, I'm not gonna get too crazy into spoilers or anything with Venom. I do think Venom was done pretty damn well. Tony Todd doing Venom's voice is absolutely amazing. He absolutely killed it. That was incredible. So this will probably go back into the good. I also think that Venom was also introduced a little too late, and I kind of didn't like that. Kind of wish we would have got a little bit more Venom, but I get it though. You know, got to do what you got to do. Studio, it probably cost a lot of money to make that game, so I totally understand, you know, what the shortcomings they had to do in the story. I don't really have a problem with that. Mary Jane missions, I have a problem with. I have a problem with her being able to see through walls with her senses or sights or whatever the fuck that shit was. I don't, all that, not cool. No offense. Listen for enemies? What is this?
In there.
She's got powers? What is this? What is this? Not cool, not cool. Didn't like any of that. That all gets a knock for me. It's just like 2018 Spider-Man. Mary Jane missions are terrible. They're even done really bad in the remaster. I can show you guys a funny video. Hopefully I'll have it up right here. See if I can find it. If I can't, then, you know, it ain't gonna be up. But if you see it, you see it. You'll laugh. Trust me. Yo, he got yanked though. I know y'all just saw Spider-Man disappear. I know you saw that. This game's terrible. Yo, nobody ever shows shit like that. Look. He better. Yo! Let's watch him do it again. He's like, he literally stops animating. Look. He just does that and watch. Boop. Bro. Yo, and this is on the PS5. I'm trying to think what else, man. I love like I said, the story was great, man. Like that's where the heart of the game is to me, because there's so many like moments that are like closed chapters, if you will. They like closed chapters and closed books, you know? And I think that that's very important for a game to have a sequel, is to like not ignore everything from the past, but to use it, you know, and to expand upon it and build upon it and create something new off of it. I think that's genius. And I think they nailed all of that shit beautifully. I think that was the best part about it. You know what I mean? I just wish the game was a little bit more difficult. I wish they just didn't use so much gadgets. I wish there was maybe a more challenging version of Spider-Man where everything's not so autopilot. Because I would actually like to be able to really make it challenging, you know? So I would much rather a challenging version of it than like Superman 64. You're just flying through rings. Wasn't really I didn't really enjoy it after a while. After a while it got old to where I was using fast travel. And fast travel is amazing. That's another thing I absolutely loved, was fast travel. That was another great thing. But again, that goes back to the technological features and advances that Spider-Man 2 has created. If we're to talk about anything like ugly, the ugly shit is just that the fact that I'm in Antarctica and I'm swinging and I'm tethering to nothing, and you already have the web wingsuit. Like, why not just trust your gamers to use the wingsuit there? Why give them the ability to use swing right there? You know, that to me screams, hey, we want this game to be made for babies, and I don't like that. You know, I think you should trust your gamers and have them have the ability. They've already been introduced to the web wingsuit. Why give yourself the ability to float all day? You can just web nothing. I don't understand that aspect, and I'm not really a fan of that. And I don't like that it bent the rules. That is the ugly for me. That's what really knocked this game from a 9 to an 8.5. This game was a 9 out of 10, almost a 10 out of 10, but there's too many shortcomings in the difficulty factor and in the traversal and the autopilot and the being able to web nothing. I don't like that. I don't respect that. And the webbing going through walls. Webs also go through walls. If you hang on a building, it clips through walls. And people are like, what do you want it to do? Well, 2004 Spider-Man fucking figured it out, so maybe you should too. I'm just kidding. I'm not really talking to Des. I'm more talking to the fucking people in the comments and shit. Because I know people are going to be mad at me for like me not like, you know, sucking this game off or whatever. But I really don't think it's that great. I really don't. I think it's good. I think it really is a good game. Like I said, 8.5 is decent, man. What do you want from me? That's decent as hell for me. Like, that's a really high rating for me. You know what I mean? But there's just so many shortcomings that I have issues with that I can't let them go free. And there's also a couple dumb things in the story. Like, okay, let's get into spoiler territory. So since that was all pretty much good for spoiler free though. Let's get into spoiler for a second. The part where Harry and Peter go back to the lab, why are they performing lab work in the office area of the lab where there's glass and shit? They don't have a warehouse? They don't have a place to actually test things? They can't go to an open area? They could have went out back to do that. He put a pin marker on the wall. You couldn't. He's like, let's go test. Let's go do science. You can't do that outside? Okay, sure. Let's say that's the case. Then yeah. Shit like that was like weird choices I didn't really enjoy. When you're riding through the city on the bike and shit, I bet you everybody, if you're on autopilot, you're just one of those go forward people. I'm like fucking around trying to see like what you can do in the game, and like, dude, the world is just so static in that shit, and I don't really like when they make you do the on ground missions. I'm not a fan. I'd rather have it be like how 2004 is. 2004, you like go see Jonah, you change clothes, you walk over there, he's like, hey, do this. You're like, all right, you leave, and then you change back to Spider-Man. That's the extent of like what I want for my fucking missions when it comes to being a normal person. I get it though, you know, to make it more attached and stuff. So it works for some people, you know. But for me, all those missions I didn't want to do. I did it all obviously, but I didn't enjoy any of those missions. I didn't really enjoy the Mary Jane stuff, obviously. And that's really it, man. I enjoyed the symbiote suit. I enjoyed the Peter's like descent into kind of like anger and shit. I thought all that was really well done and really cool. That's why I wish Venom was in it a little bit longer. If he was in it just a little bit longer, man, the game would have probably still got a 9, even with my gripes about the traversal and all that stuff in easy mode and shit. I love this game. I really do. I think it's a great game. I like the first Spider-Man more and Miles Morales more though, but I love all the Spider-Man games. I think I'm a big Spider-Man game player. Like, I'm not really the biggest Spider-Man fan. I personally think that he's a fucking idiot and he should just be making patents and he'd already be rich. I don't get that shit, and people always try to explain it to me why he can't do that. I'm like, what? You can't make an invention, put some patents out, sell some shit, and then flip the fucking the patent flip? Like, what do you mean he can't? Yes, he absolutely can. You fuckers just want Peter like to have a shitty life or some shit all fucking day. I never understood that shit. I never understood like that aspect of Peter, you know. Maybe somebody can explain in the comments, like, you know. I know it's like a Madam Web, like Peter's are supposed to, or they're always supposed to have like a bad fate, or Spider-Man's always supposed to have some sort of bad fate or whatever the fuck. Let's go back to this when he first came out. Even then, bro, like, you know, what the fuck, bro? Like, once he graduated college and shit, and it's just like, I don't know. I never understood that. He's always like struggling to pay bills and shit. I always thought that was kind of whack. But I still love Spider-Man games. I've played majority Spider-Man games on my stream. So like, you know, somebody comes in like thinking I don't know Spider-Man games. It's quite the opposite. I pretty much have beaten almost every Spider-Man game on stream that isn't like super retro. Like, we beat Maximum Carnage and up. Pretty much. We've beaten even the Sega CD Spider-Man versus the Kingpin, bro. Like, I play Spider-Man games. Don't get it twisted. I had 2004 Spider-Man, 2001 Spider-Man, the PS1 Spider-Mans. Like, I've done it, bro. We do it. You know what I mean? That's something I do, you know? So I'm just coming more from a perspective of that. Like, there was a lot more creativity in those games in some aspects. Like, for example, right? What can you do with webs in Spider-Man 2? I'll wait. The answer is shoot him, yank him, spin people around. That's all you can do. In Spider-Man 1, he could put the webs on his hands and make his punches stronger. Dog, that's the kind of cool stuff I like to see. He could put a shield down and shield himself and blam, blow it up, and it would like knock everybody back. Like, those kind of things aren't in this game because of all these gadgets that are in the game. And I think those gadgets kind of take away from like the cool shit you could see in like a webbing, like with a webbing phenomenon. And I get, you know, that's Toby, and you can be like, well, he didn't have that much webbing. Like, bro, you know, there's no cartridges. Nobody's ever worried about cartridges in this game. So don't talk about the webbing to me, bro. I don't want to hear it. He could do it, obviously. He'd never run out of web. So there's definitely some things you can do. And there's just no, I don't know. I wish there was more fun things to do with webs and shit, you know, like the straight zip line. I kind of miss that, where like you could just zip anywhere and you point at it and it's just like a fucking go. In Spider-Man 2, it's more of a pull to expect you to propel somewhere, so you're doing the double whip. But in like, you know, the PS2 Spider-Man, you could just press the zip line button and he'd go like straight. It's just like, and you'll attach to a wall or whatever, you know. But the game doesn't really have that many mechanics or times where they would utilize that, you know. But I would like to have seen that a little bit more. It's starting to drag on, you know. That's basically it, you know. I don't want to get too deep, you know, too crazy with it or anything like that. Again, I'm not trying to rag on the game. I think it's a great game, very well done. Not my favorite Spider-Man, not by a long shot, not even close. I'd still put Spider-Man 2004, Ultimate Spider-Man, 2018 Spider-Man ahead of this game. Those are the 3 games I put ahead of it. And I'd put the soundtrack for Spider-Man versus Kingpin ahead of all of them if you really wanted to know. But yeah, man, that's about it, bro. I feel like I've gotten my major points across. I did enjoy the game. Don't get it twisted. Do not think I hate the game. I don't hate the game. I just want more for the game. I wish it wasn't so easy. I wish there was a little bit more challenge in the traversal. I wish there was some swinging challenges. It's all like flying through these little meter challenges, which take 2 seconds. It's all Superman 64, but fast, you know, and I didn't really like any of that. That's cool if you did. I love you. We could talk about it below, though. I'm very willing to have a discussion about it. Always willing to have a discussion about everything. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great evening, morning, noon, night, whatever it may be for you. Peace. Like, how are you? Look,
man.
it's a whole wall. This
Gotta
is
get all the way across the room.
Oh man, if only I could climb the wall! I'm fucking Spider Bot!
Copy that.
Oh my god.
End of all things.
Are you guys okay? They don't even care about Spider-Man.
So, like, what are the webs made of?
How you feel about this? Cool, right? Don't you wish you could do that?
The sand is making me itch.
The way they walk. Photo op. Didn't.
I don't think I can make it. On my way.
There we go. Like, where the fuck is the music at? He ain't gonna make it. I don't even know where he is. Bro, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. You're dead, bro. Oh fuck. Holy shit. Spider-Man's out of there. Sprint towards enemies? What in the fuck is this?
Training with Sable paid off sooner than I'd hoped.
Oh my god. Boo.
Connors has to be around
I
here
hate
somewhere.
it.
I have to tell
No.
Pete.
No, don't make me play as this chick.
Where is that?
Ugh.
But next time, answer my calls.
Trust me, I'll be on my best behavior.
You'd better be. Now go help my son.
So sorry, gotta put you on hold. Ms. Morales, hello again. So, trust me.
Oh no.
I'll be on my best behavior. Sorry, gotta put you on hold. Hello again, Ms. Morales.
Oh my god,
Sorry
no!
for the interruption, but like I was saying, no cultists.
I hung up on her 4 times. Oh, it's so bad, bro. You don't hang up on somebody's mom